What if everything you know about history is incomplete? What if some cities don't belong to timelines, but to consciousness? Ayodhya is one such city, a place where mythology refuses to die, where belief survives destruction, and where time seems to move differently. This is not coincidence, because Ayodhya was never designed to exist like other cities. It was designed to outlive them. Empires rose and collapsed, borders changed, languages disappeared, but Ayodhya remained. Not powerful, not rich, not dominant, but remembered. And remembrance is more powerful than control. Tonight, we begin uncovering the deepest, least discussed secrets of Ayodhya. Not slogans, not politics, but the civilizational blueprint hidden beneath it. Most civilizations begin with geography. Ayodhya began with values. The name Ayodhya does not mean Holy Land. It does not mean birthplace. It does not mean capital. It means that which cannot be defeated. But defeated by whom? Not armies, not invaders, not weapons. Ayodhya was meant to be undefeated by injustice, ego, moral collapse. This tells us something radical. Ayodhya was not built to rule territory. It was built to train humanity. According to Indian cosmology, time is not linear. It moves in cycles called yugas. Treta Yuga was an age when morality was still strong but beginning to decline. And in that age, Ayodhya emerged as the ideal reference point, not as a utopia, but as a moral benchmark. The Ramayana does not describe Ayodhya to entertain. It describes Ayodhya to teach. Wide roads symbolize transparency. Open courts symbolize justice. Public welfare symbolizes responsibility. This was urban planning as philosophy. Ancient Indian cities were not accidental. Ayodhya's layout followed sacred geometry. The Sarayu's flow, the temple placements, the elevation of Hanuman Garhi, the centrality of Ramkot, all align with Vedic spatial logic. The idea was simple. If human life mirrors cosmic order, society remains stable. Ayodhya was an experiment in living aligned with the universe. Rama is often portrayed as powerful, but power is not his defining quality. Restraint is. Rama obeyed exile, accepted suffering, sacrificed reputation, chose duty over emotion. Ayodhya worships Rama because he proved something shocking. You can be powerful and still choose morality. That lesson threatens tyrants. This is rarely discussed deeply. Rama did not leave Ayodhya because he was defeated. He left because society failed a test. Public doubt outweighed truth. Fear outweighed justice. Rama walked away to protect the idea of Dharma from being corrupted by emotion. That single act became the foundation of Indian ethics. After Rama's departure, Ayodhya gradually withdrew from politics, not collapsed, withdrew, because its purpose was fulfilled. It had delivered a model, not an empire. From that moment, Ayodhya became a symbol, not a seat of power. Symbols live longer than capitals. Thousands of cities vanished completely. Ayodhya didn't, because it lived in stories, rituals, household prayers, village performances. Even illiterate communities preserved Ayodhya in memory. That is not accidental. That is cultural encoding. If Ayodhya survived without power, without armies, without wealth, what was truly protecting it?
Before we move forward, we must answer a critical question. Why did Ayodhya survive when far greater cities disappeared? Cities like Mohenjo-daro vanished completely. Powerful capitals like Pataliputra faded into ruins. Great kingdoms turned into footnotes. Yet Ayodhya, a city without political power, survived? The answer lies not in stone, but in people. Ayodhya survived because it was carried inside households, not palaces. It lived in bedtime stories told to children, in village Ramayanas recited during festivals, in daily prayers whispered by ordinary people. Ayodhya was not preserved by rulers, it was preserved by memory, and memory is stronger than monuments. When people speak about Ayodhya, they speak of Rama. Rarely do they speak of Sita, and that is the first injustice. Because if Rama represents Dharma in action, Sita represents Dharma in endurance. Ayodhya's foundation is not built on war or victory. It is built on quiet strength. Sita was not weak, she was unbreakable. She endured exile without complaint. She endured captivity without hatred. She endured suspicion without rebellion. And finally, she refused to prove herself again. That final refusal is one of the most powerful moments in Indian philosophy. Sita chose dignity over acceptance. Ayodhya remembers her not through grand temples, but through daily life. Her kitchen is worshipped. Her routines are remembered. Because Ayodhya teaches, divinity is not always loud. Sometimes it is silent resilience. Most civilizations worship kings in thrones. Ayodhya worships a kitchen. Think about that. Sita ki rasoi is not grand. It is not architecturally impressive. Yet people bow there. Why? Because Ayodhya does not glorify dominance. It glorifies service. Cooking is nourishment. Nourishment is preservation of life. Preservation of life is Dharma. Sita's kitchen symbolizes the idea that civilization survives not by conquest, but by care. This is why Ayodhya feels different. People use Rama Rajya casually. Very few understand it. Rama Rajya does not mean a religious state. It does not mean one belief system ruling all. Rama Rajya means moral accountability at every level. In Rama Rajya, the king was judged more harshly than citizens. Power came with personal sacrifice. Leadership meant loss, not gain. Rama Rajya was not comfortable. That is why it rarely exists. Ayodhya does not promise pleasure. It promises responsibility. Here is one of Ayodhya's greatest lessons. When Rama went into exile, Bharata was offered the throne. He refused. Instead, he placed Rama's sandals on the throne and ruled as a caretaker. This act alone separates Ayodhya from almost every civilization in history. Because Bharata proved something extraordinary. Power is borrowed. It is never owned. Ayodhya remembers Bharata because he ruled without ego. That is the kind of leadership Ayodhya demands. Now we come to Hanuman. Most people think Hanuman is worshipped for strength. That is incorrect. Hanuman is worshipped for controlled strength. He could destroy cities. He could defeat armies. Yet he bowed to Rama. Hanuman's role in Ayodhya is not as a warrior. It is as a watchman. Hanuman Gadhi sits above the city not to dominate it, but to guard its values. Symbolically saying, when humans forget Dharma, strength must protect it. Here is a powerful truth. After Rama's departure, many characters faded into legend. Hanuman did not, because Hanuman represents something eternal. Service does not end when leadership ends. Ayodhya survives because someone is always guarding it, even when rulers fail. Most sacred rivers promise purification. Sarayu promises release. This is a subtle but profound difference. Purification cleanses. Release liberates. Ancient belief says Sarayu breaks the cycle of attachment. That is why Ayodhya is associated with both birth and departure. Rama was born here, and he left the world here. Ayodhya represents the full cycle of life. This may sound strange, but it is deeply philosophical. Many saints chose Ayodhya for their final moments, not because it was easy, but because Ayodhya forces reflection. To die in Ayodhya is to confront Dharma honestly. No escape, no illusions, just truth. After Rama's era, Ayodhya did something unique. It stepped away from ambition. Other cities chased expansion. Ayodhya chose preservation. It preserved values, preserved stories, preserved rituals. That choice made it vulnerable, but it also made it eternal. Here is an uncomfortable truth. Sacred symbols attract power struggles. Ayodhya became a target because it represented legitimacy. Whoever controlled Ayodhya claimed moral authority. That is why conflicts emerged centuries later. But notice this: structures were attacked. Belief was not erased. Ayodhya was defended not by walls, but by repetition. Every generation repeated the story. Every household passed it on. That repetition created continuity. Continuity creates civilization.
Most people believe Ayodhya begins with Rama. That belief is comforting, but history is rarely simple. Ancient traditions suggest something unsettling. Ayodhya may be older than the Ramayana itself. Texts describe Ayodhya as a city that already existed, organized, prosperous, and spiritually active, long before Rama was born. This means Rama did not create Ayodhya, he inherited it, and inheritance always carries layers. Unlike imperial capitals, Ayodhya never tried to rule geography, it ruled consciousness. This made it adaptable. When dynasties changed, Ayodhya changed quietly. When belief systems evolved, Ayodhya absorbed them. That flexibility is the key to its survival. Here is a truth that surprises many. Ayodhya was once a major Buddhist center, not on the margins, at the core. Monasteries existed, monks debated philosophy, meditation halls echoed with silence. Ayodhya embraced Buddha's teachings because they aligned with its nature: renunciation, restraint, moral discipline. The city did not resist Buddhism, it welcomed it. Buddhism rejects kingship dominance. Ayodhya rejected power obsession. Buddhism values detachment. Ayodhya valued renunciation. The match was natural. For centuries, Ayodhya was not exclusively Hindu, it was pluralistic. Different paths, same destination. Now comes a deeper layer. According to Jain tradition, Ayodhya is the birthplace of 5 Tirthankaras. 5. This alone makes it one of the most sacred Jain cities. Yet this layer is rarely discussed publicly. Why? Because it disrupts single narrative history. Ayodhya was never owned by one belief, it was shared. Jainism teaches extreme nonviolence. Ayodhya never celebrated war. Jainism values detachment. Ayodhya valued renunciation. The match was natural. For centuries, Ayodhya was not exclusively Hindu, it was pluralistic. Different paths, same destination. Now comes a deeper layer. According to Jain tradition, Ayodhya is the birthplace of 5 Tirthankaras. 5. This alone makes it one of the most sacred Jain cities. Yet this layer is rarely discussed publicly. Why? Because it disrupts single narrative history. Ayodhya was never owned by one belief, it was shared. Jainism teaches extreme nonviolence. Ayodhya never celebrated war. Jainism values detachment. Ayodhya valued renunciation. The match was natural. For centuries, Ayodhya was not exclusively Hindu, it was pluralistic. Different paths, same destination. Time erases gently before it erases violently. Many monasteries disappeared, not by destruction, but by abandonment. When patronage moved elsewhere, structures decayed. What survived? Stories, rituals, place names, traces that still whisper.
Here is a crucial shift. Trade routes changed, capitals moved, empires relocated. Ayodhya did not resist, it stepped aside. Unlike other cities that collapsed violently, Ayodhya withdrew, and withdrawal can look like weakness, but it is often wisdom. When Ayodhya withdrew from power, it lost protection. Without armies, sacred spaces become vulnerable. This vulnerability would later invite external ambition. But for centuries, Ayodhya existed quietly, like a saint in exile. As political powers changed, Ayodhya became symbolic. Symbols attract attention. Attention invites control. Control invites conflict. Ayodhya's value shifted from spiritual to political. This was the beginning of tension. Important truth. For long periods, multiple faiths coexisted in Ayodhya. Shared festivals, shared spaces, shared silence. Conflict was not constant, it was manufactured during power struggles. Ayodhya's philosophy is inward, battlegrounds are outward. This mismatch created tragedy. Faith asks personal questions, identity demands public loyalty. When faith became identity, Ayodhya changed. Debate became defense, dialogue became division. This shift happened slowly and painfully. Stories began to harden, fluid traditions became rigid narratives, and rigidity creates fragility. Ayodhya did not riot, it did not revolt, it endured. That endurance is misunderstood as passivity, but endurance preserves essence. If a city belonged to many paths, who decides ownership? Is sacredness exclusive or shared? Ayodhya forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. From here onward, Ayodhya's story becomes heavier.
There comes a moment in every civilization when memory stops guiding and starts accusing. For Ayodhya, that moment arrived quietly, not with swords, not with fire, but with narratives. Stories that once explained meaning were rewritten to assign ownership. And once ownership enters spirituality, conflict is inevitable. This must be said clearly. Ayodhya did not seek confrontation, it was pulled into it. By rulers who needed legitimacy, by empires that needed symbols, by politics that needed emotion. Ayodhya became valuable not for what it was, but for what it could represent. Sacred places are not powerful because of land. They are powerful because of belief density. Millions believe in Ayodhya. That belief became currency. Whoever controlled the symbol could control emotion, and emotion is more powerful than law. Originally, devotion was inward. People asked, "How should I live?" Slowly, devotion turned outward. People began asking, "How do I protect?" Protection creates boundaries. Boundaries create sides. Sides create enemies. This transformation did not happen overnight. It took centuries. When conflict enters a sacred place, everyone loses something. Not just buildings, not just idols, but silence. Ayodhya was once quiet. Conflict made it loud. Chants replaced contemplation. Debates replaced devotion. Something subtle was lost, and subtle losses are the hardest to notice. Here is the truth most avoid. Ayodhya reflects society. It shows us who we become when belief meets power. If Ayodhya feels divided, it is because minds are divided. The city did not fracture itself, people did. Many believe Ayodhya's pain comes from one event. That is comforting because it simplifies blame. But Ayodhya's fracture was cumulative, layer upon layer of misunderstanding, fear, and politicization. No single villain, no single hero,
only escalation. Politics enters quietly, first as protection, then as representation, finally as domination. Ayodhya crossed all three stages. Once politics arrived, truth became negotiable. Courts were asked to resolve devotion. Judges were asked to define belief. This was never going to be clean, because faith does not function on evidence alone, and law does not function on emotion. Ayodhya sat between both, strained. Lost in debates are ordinary people, shopkeepers, priests, children. They lived between curfews and cameras, between slogans and silence. For them, Ayodhya was not an issue, it was home. Here is something remarkable. Despite everything, Ayodhya did not descend into chaos. Why? Because restraint was embedded in its culture. The city absorbed shock like soil absorbs rain, slowly, painfully, but without flooding. Ayodhya sacrificed peace so others could fight over it. It became the stage so the nation could argue. That burden was never chosen, it was imposed. Eventually, exhaustion sets in. People grow tired of anger, tired of shouting, tired of carrying inherited rage. Ayodhya reached that point. It wanted closure, not victory, closure. When Reconstruction finally began, many thought it was about stone. It wasn't. It was about resolution, about ending a psychological loop that trapped generations. Rebuilding structures does not rebuild consciousness. Temples can rise overnight. Wisdom takes generations. Ayodhya knows this. That is why it remains cautious. Now that you have claimed victory, what will you do with it? Dominate or dignify? Celebrate or introspect? Ayodhya watches. Triumph contradicts its nature. Ayodhya was never about conquest, it was about conduct. Winning externally means nothing if lost internally. The true test is not construction, it is character. Will Ayodhya become louder or deeper?
After everything we have explored, one truth becomes unavoidable. Ayodhya was never meant to be understood as geography. It was designed as an idea that asks a dangerous question. Can humans live by principles even when it hurts? Most civilizations answer no. Ayodhya answered yes, again and again. Rama is often portrayed as perfect. That portrayal weakens him. Rama was not worshipped because life was easy for him. He was worshipped because he chose difficulty. He accepted exile without protest. He accepted separation without bitterness. He accepted judgment without anger. Perfection is not divinity. Sacrifice is. One of the least discussed aspects of Rama is how often he remains silent. He does not justify himself endlessly. He does not explain every decision. Why? Because Ayodhya teaches Dharma is not a performance, it is a burden. If you constantly explain your righteousness, you are already unsure of it. Here is the secret few admit. Living by Dharma is painful. It costs relationships, it costs comfort, it costs applause. Ayodhya does not hide this. That is why it never promised happiness, it promised meaning. Many spiritual centers offer liberation from life. Ayodhya does not. It forces engagement. Be a good ruler, be a fair citizen, be an honest partner, be accountable. There is no shortcut. Rama's final departure is deeply uncomfortable. He walks into the river Sarayu not in triumph, but in completion. He does not cling to legacy. He does not demand remembrance. This teaches something radical. Even righteousness must be released. Attachment, even to virtue, can become bondage. Ayodhya is associated with both birth and departure. That symmetry matters.
A civilization obsessed with beginnings becomes arrogant. A civilization aware of endings becomes humble. Ayodhya keeps death visible, not to frighten, but to ground. Ayodhya is not entertaining, it is demanding. It asks, would you choose ethics even if no one is watching? Would you give up power if it compromised truth? Most people avoid these questions. Ayodhya does not. Ayodhya's future depends on one thing, not infrastructure, not tourism, not pride, but restraint. If Ayodhya becomes a place of victory narratives, it will lose itself. If it remains a place of introspection, it will endure. This is the truth the city guarded all along. Ayodhya is not in Uttar Pradesh. Ayodhya is within you. Every time you choose honesty over advantage, every time you choose restraint over revenge, every time you walk away from power you could have misused, that is Ayodhya. Rama Rajya is not a kingdom, it is a state of conscience, where leaders sacrifice first, where justice is uncomfortable, where morality is non-negotiable. That is why Rama Rajya is rare and why Ayodhya is eternal. Empires fall, narratives collapse, victories fade, but questions remain. As long as humans ask, what is the right thing to do when it hurts, Ayodhya will exist. Ayodhya does not ask for worship, it asks for reflection, not applause, but alignment, not pride, but practice, and that is why it has survived everything. Thank you for watching, my dears. Please give me a like and subscribe the channel as an appreciation for my efforts. Don't forget to comment on which topic my next video should be. Love you all.